About Arsenal playing in the Premier League this weekend, owing to the international break, it's a bit of a slow news day and a slow news week of sorts where Arsenal are concerned. That being said, there's still many things to speak about. There's still many transfer bits and pieces. There's rumours around our young players leaving. There's rumours around existing players leaving. There's a couple of obviously positive headlines for our existing first team players, and there's a lot of bit of pieces in between. So smash the like button. Get comfortable and let's do exactly that. Let's go after everything. Let's go over everything to do with the news headlines. First up, people, there's reasons for happiness. There's absolute reasons for excitement. And I'm not just talking about the 4-goal thriller, the 3-1 victory against Manchester United. I hope you lot, Arsenal fans, including myself, are not letting our Manchester United friends and family forget it, terrorize their WhatsApp, etc., and never let them forget it. Fresh after just becoming 22 years of age. Obviously, Bukayo Saka is a talented young player. I mean, I always knew he'd make the first team, but I was shocked, and in a positive way. You never quite know how far they're going to go, and I'm shocked to see his progress year after year, people. Another day, another nomination. Bukayo Saka, our right winger, has been nominated for the men's Ballon d'Or. We all know he won't win it, but yeah, and he's won England Player of the Year twice, Player of the Year for PFA, and he's in the PFA Team of the Year. Great that we got him to sign the new deal, because as you can see, Bukayo stocks are rising. Bukayo Saka stocks are rising, and at 22 years of age, I think we've scratched the surface. He's obviously gone from a young, exciting talent to a go-to man for Arsenal, and now it's about going to another level and dealing with the appropriate expectations, people. Ramsdale has also been nominated for the Ballon d'Or and also has been nominated for the Yassine Trophy, which is to do with goalkeepers. Another one who was in the PFA Team of the Year. He won't win it, but it's good to be nominated, I guess. As you know, he's around ter Stegen, Martinez, Courtois. I personally believe Emi Martinez, after winning the World Cup, a bit like Lionel Messi, should win it. But if you're around keepers at the top of their game, you're in great company. Martin Odegaard has also been nominated for the Ballon d'Or. And when you consider Odegaard cost 30 million, Saka came from our academy, and if William Saliba was fit, he probably could have got a nomination. We're cooking, people, really. Shout out Katie McCabe as well, people, representing Arsenal's women's. Again, it's a full house where Arsenal are concerned. Our men's, our women's, we deal with this. This is why we're Arsenal Football Club, big club business. Shout out to Amanda as well, also on the nominee. We hope Arsenal can bring a trophy home. Probably won't, but it's nice to see individuals nominated. Jorginho's been linked with Fenerbahce 1 week, and now he's been linked with Barcelona, people. Apparently, Barcelona are looking for another number 6, and the article I saw online, they've been linked with a number of players. Also, they're tying up a move potentially to go for Jorginho in January. They've also been linked with Brozovic, Zubamendi, Joshua Kimmich, and several players. So I think just because of Jorginho's current situation, it's easy to link Barcelona with a move for him. They've also been linked with Paulinho, who looked dead set to go to Bayern Munich, and looks like they'll revisit their interest in the Fulham man in January. I mean, I do think Jorginho will leave at the end of the season, but who knows? As you can see with the Sky Sports headline, the question, how big of a problem is Kai Havertz for Arsenal? I think internally he's not a problem. I think he's fitting what Arteta demands of him in the team. Just to in relation to us fans, whether he's able to stand out, get goals and assists, and replace Granit Xhaka, or better yet, fill the void that Granit Xhaka has left, is another story. Again, I'm all for fair, positive affirmations and fair criticism. It does feel like he's being scapegoated. Obviously, to a degree, it could have been a different outlook had he not had we not, better yet, have won the game against Man United after his error in midfield led to us losing the ball. Again, because of the way Arsenal play football, we're going to get left on the transition. Balls are going to be astray. You know, it was Bukayo Saka against Fulham. It's obviously Kai Havertz against Man United. The difference is, you know, Saka is proving his worth. With what you could see with Petit, and obviously what Paul Merson has just said on the articles I've seen and put in this video for you, it does add a bit of context. I don't think Mikel Arteta will give up on Kai Havertz. I don't think he can afford to. You spent a handsome sum to bring him in at this technical time at Arsenal, as we look to move closer and closer to City. He's on big wages, and I'd imagine he signed a 4 or 5 year deal. I think he fits into the team dynamic. I think his work off the ball is underrated and understated and doesn't get the praise, but at the same time, you've got to be able to do that and more. You know, we do want to see the Kai Havertz from Leverkusen. We do want to see the Kai Havertz that plays for Germany. And with Fabio Vieira's form off the bench, impact impacting games. You look at Manchester City, look at Manchester United, and we didn't get the collective result, but individually, he had a great game against Fulham. He's probably knocking on the door. Obviously, a fit Thomas Partey raises a question: do you go Declan Rice, Partey, and Odegaard? And Smith Rowe hasn't been able to get Premier League minutes, but you'd imagine some fans are advocating for such. In the absence of Anthony, people being dropped from the Brazil team after allegations of off-the-field business to do with his girlfriend, Gabriel Jesus, who's just basically come back from injury, has been called up as his potential replacement. Once again, Manchester United have allegedly been accused of covering up Anthony's assault allegations by his ex-girlfriend's lawyers, people. There's rumours of getting a private doctor. United have given out a statement. I don't want to feed into gossip, but what I would say is thoughts only go with the alleged victim. Nicolas Pepe, 1 minute is Turkey, then it's Saudi Arabia, then it's ripping up his contract, and life comes at you in full circles, really and truly. Some would argue it could be worth at least until January keeping Pepe as a potential backup for Bukayo Saka, or as a right-wing wildcard off the bench, people. As I said, sometimes it's Saudi Arabia. Apparently, Besiktas have spanned the block and circled again for Nicolas Pepe. Apparently, they're continuing their efforts to sign him, people. As you know, he faces the prospect of no football at least until January because he can't get a look in. Articles are now reporting that in relation to Pepe, Besiktas are trying to get him on the free. There were rumours that Arsenal were to get 2 million. There was also rumours that was to get £4 million, either from Besiktas or teams in the Middle East. Considering he's on 140 grand a week, it's a situation Arsenal need to improve on. Speaking of transfers and Edu, apparently Arsenal could consider moves for 3 defenders in the January transfer window, while speculation being addressed over their interest in Crystal Palace's Mark Guehi as a replacement for Timber. I mean, I don't know if Guehi's as versatile as Timber and can play as a right back or a left back to go with centre half. I don't know if it makes sense for Guehi to actually join Arsenal beyond the obvious, people, if I'm completely honest with you, because on the face of it, you're starting on a regular basis. You've got a Euros. I'd welcome him, and if he takes the step up, he's going to have to step up and relish competition, but it doesn't make sense, nor does it make sense for Arsenal, in my opinion, to spend 50-60 million on a man that you can't undoubtedly say is going to dislodge either William Saliba or Gabriel or even Benjamin White if he moves to centre half, or even Timber for all his versatility. For what it's worth, Ben Jacobs has said, that's why I think Arteta is content with his defensive options, even though Timber is out for several months. A lot of these players, Timber included, are extremely versatile and can play in 2 or 3 different positions, so there was no need for Arsenal to panic by. The likes of Benfica's Alexander Barr, Crystal Palace's Mark Guehi, and Galatasaray's Victor Nelson were all linked, but there was never a great deal of substance, people. So we'll have to see really and truly if January we act. Away from that, a man that looked dead set to go to Chelsea at one point in time, and a player that many Arsenal fans got a lot of time for, Elise. Allegedly, he is in rumours to sign a new contract and remove that release clause. I would welcome him at Arsenal Football Club. His age, his versatility, his off-the-ball work, his showmanship. I think Mikel Arteta would do well under him. Well, he would do well under Mikel Arteta. Apparently, he has a release clause in his new contract, people, that becomes active next summer. As you know, allegedly, he had a £35 million release clause, and Chelsea were dead set to sign a former Cobham boy before obviously a change of heart, and he signed a new deal. No clue as to what the length of contract is or what the release clause exactly is, but as you know, Elise is an appreciating asset, and where you go in today's day and age, you've got players like this, is going to cost a lot of money, people. Chelsea remain admirers of him, as do Arsenal in some reports, and obviously Manchester City were rumoured to be eyeing up a move for the talented English/French youth international. Be interesting to see who he plays for at international level. He's eligible for a number of countries, people. Apparently, you know, he's been given a substantial increase on his 45 grand, definitely not million, a week wages. You know, you keep him, you keep Eze, you marry a couple of talented players in, and Crystal Palace can cook. And to be honest, Crystal Palace have never been more prepared, in my opinion, to cope with the departure of Zaha, with these emerging young, quote-unquote English talented players, and players that get bums off seats in the stadium with their technical ability and their technical level. It's easy to gravitate towards them. David Silva says Arsenal are the only Premier League title challengers to Manchester City. Now, I'd be wary of that, especially 4 games in, but there's nothing I can tell David Silva about football, much less, you know, who he believes could win a league title because he's done both of them things that I'm yet to do. I'd be wary of things, you know. I'd say let Arsenal take their time. There's a lot of good we've done. There's a lot of things we can improve upon, and I wouldn't necessarily say such. We don't know how we're going to cope with the Champions League and all the other cups, really, and actually the void left by some players, and actually how other players pick up the slack, whether it's injuries or departures. This is Pep's 8th season at City. The first year he was getting used to the Premier League, but now they're almost unstoppable. They are unstoppable. Arsenal, the only team I can see who maybe have a chance of challenging City. The rest, I don't think they can. You never know, because many people would have said a year ago, Arsenal wouldn't have challenged for the Premier League title. Again, we all know since Arsenal have signed Nicholas Hover, a set-piece coach, we've improved at set pieces, and it was nice to see us have 12, 13 corners against Manchester United in our recent Premier League victory, and obviously one of them paid off with Declan Rice, and I did like Martinelli's one where he was hanging on the edge of the area and he tried to wrap it to pass Onana's near post. He just ever so slightly got his bearings wrong, people. And again, it shows things, you know, can work for us if we work hard. We need to try and get any fine margin over our opponents, people. And you can obviously see in the previous season, Arsenal only scored 3 times from corner kicks in the Premier League, which was our lowest tally in a full season since Opta began collecting stats, people. Hover's arrival before the start of the 2021 season increased Arsenal's threat from set pieces, scoring 13 times from corners in the Premier League. The Frenchman's first season with the club before equalising the number again last season, making 13 goals from corners, the most Arsenal scored in a single Premier League season, once again, since Opta started collecting data, which is great, people. The last 2 seasons saw Arsenal's rate of goals per 100 corners jump to a new level, the 6.3 in 2021 and 5.8 in 2022. 22-23 are their highest rates since 2017-18. So it shows the work that not just Arteta, but his coaching staff are doing, really. And they don't always get the praise for it. Big up Declan Rice. Currently in the Premier League, he has a 97% tackle success rate and a 99% pass completion. With respect to West Ham, he is a lot more expansive in an Arsenal shirt than he was in West Ham, and there's still a long way to go. But I think he's worth every penny. Obviously, 105 million is a lot to pay for, but where you look at certain other London clubs struggles with their £100 million man making 2 mistakes in 2 Premier League games, obviously collectively they're a mess. You can see why Arsenal and Mikel Arteta wanted Declan Rice at the carpet. Money well spent, really and truly, in my opinion. Charles Watt says Cedric actually wants to leave Arsenal and we might hang on to him for the first part of the season. Talented young player Marcelo Flores, the 19-year-old, is set for a move to Mexico and join Tigres, people. I've said it before and people said I was a hater. I just don't think he was going to make the grade, and I don't think he pulled up any trees on loan. But hopefully he can have a great career. He's still only 19 years of age, and hopefully Arsenal can get an important fee for a player that doesn't seem to be making the grade. Now, with that being said, people, I know you're doing a lot of internal calculations in relation to what I've said. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. Check out the rest of the video. Check out the August and September playlist. One love, people. I appreciate you lot all. Stay blessed.